ID's Fantasy recently released her Ultimate FNAF timeline, which is really bloody good. Go check it out. Link is in the description. For the most part, I agree with everything, even down to the relationship between Cece and Michael. The brothers, the Afton brothers. She gave some reasoning behind their relationship and compared it to her own brothers in real life. But I think we can add more weight to that because I agree with the relationship dynamic they had. And furthermore, I think it ties in to Cece being within Golden Freddy. Like everything, we have to take some themes from the books, and I believe Scott has been peppering these themes in there for us to pick up on. These themes that we can take and correlate to the game universe. Several books stood out to me, the first of which was The New Kid, where we see Devon believing he is so hard done by in life, he takes a resentment to a rather nice new kid at school, Kelsey, I believe his name may be. Devon ends up pranking Kelsey and taking him to an abandoned Freddy's Pizzeria, where of course there's suits laying around, and Devon has the genius idea to trap him in one of the Freddy suits for a while. The TLDR is angry boy pranks another boy, it goes wrong, and the Freddy suit kills the boy. Also ignore the weird ending to that book because there's probably Robot Kelsey involved, I don't know. Secondly was Lonely Freddy, another Fazbear Frights story. It sees Alec, a very angry, misbehaving young boy. He's having a lot of anger issues and he takes this out on his little sister. He resents her for being the perfect child. Now, the book actually paints it as in we don't know whether she is the perfect child or whether Alec is just in his own head about it. His favourite character in the FNAF franchise is Foxy, and he's trying to get this Foxy plush and she sort of ends up getting it and he resents her even more. And once again, TLDR, angry boy resents his little sibling and ends up trapped in a Freddy. So these books, the Fazbear Fright books, I believe unlike Tales from the Pizzaplex and the Silver Eyes, which are a little bit more on the nose and we can take hard themes and hard situations to parrot into the games, I believe Fazbear Frights gives us more characters. It gives us more motivations and themes rather than situations and people. So the last book that really stood out to me in Fazbear Frights was Step Closer, which, if you know about this, it's about a young boy named Pete whose parents are going through a divorce. He has a young sibling called Chuck and a father who, is kind of pushing him all the time. And the father's name is Bill. You see what they're doing here. Pete is very angry at the world. He actually got kicked off the football team for being too rough and too angry. He's an angry young man because of the divorce and the situation they're in. And he takes a lot of this anger out on Chuck. He calls him Chuck the Chump and he doesn't want anything to do with him. They used to get along fabulously, but not anymore. Pete is just that angry at the world and Chuck is in his world. So as the story goes on, it's a whole thing with Pete almost losing a hand and losing an eye because he encounters Foxy. Pete ends up being very run down, and at one point you think the relationship between Pete and Chuck is getting a lot better. They have a conversation, and I'll read this conversation to you. I think for all of this to be over, you have to go back and fix whatever you did in the first place. I did. I apologized for the stupid prank, okay? Everything should be good now. You forgive me, right? Yeah, we're brothers. Of course I forgive you. But in all the games I play, you have to face the ultimate bad guy, the villain. Let me just hone in on a few words from this. Yeah, we're brothers. Of course I forgive you, but you have to face the ultimate bad guy, the villain. So if we're taking the themes from these stories, we can actually start to paint a really good picture of the relationship between Cece and Michael. We can start to understand not only why he would shove him into the Golden Freddy suit, but also why he would spend his life or lives, his lifetimes, trying to make amends. I believe that due to the divorce William and his wife were going through, as supported by the tapes we've heard in Security Breach, Michael became angry at the world, and like in these parallel stories, took it out on his younger sibling. Constant pranks, constant getting under his skin, lashing out at that younger sibling in his world. And unfortunately, one day, he took the prank too far. He had the idea for his ultimate prank, as these other parallel siblings did in the books. And his ultimate prank was to give Cece the ultimate scare of his life by placing him into the Freddy mouth, which resulted in the bite of 83. As a little bit more supporting evidence, Michael is wearing the Foxy mask in those cutscenes. In a lot of these parallel stories, Foxy is either a central protagonist or he is mentioned in some way. He is a key focus. When reading these books, I could never work out why Foxy was such a key focus. I thought maybe he was just Scott's favourite, but it all makes sense now. Because Foxy is not Scott's favourite, Foxy is Michael's favourite. And you might be thinking, okay, well, you're not bringing anything new to the table. This explains the relationship between Michael and Cece. But why would Michael spend his life trying to make it up to Cece? It doesn't make sense. Well, I echo back to those sentences from Step Closer. Of course I forgive you. You're my brother. This is why he goes to all the security jobs. This is why he tried to burn the place down in FNAF 3. Michael wants vengeance for Cece against the villain. All of these books I've mentioned actually have one other common factor, one thing they all share, and that is that the older sibling is always so remorseful after the fact. Once one of these pranks goes awry or they're caught out, they finally see the error of their ways, but a lot of the time, it's too late. And that's what's happening with Michael. He's trying relentlessly to hold on. After Michael gets scooped, he's actually using that agony that was infused into him, that remnant that was infused into him, and he's actually possessing his own corpse, which is a popular theory out there, to walk around and still try to stop William. He's doing all of this to make it up to Cece, to stop William, to stop the villain, to stop his father. But that's just my take on it. Let me know in the comments what you think below, and of course, I will see you in the next video.